Welcome to this audio version of A Child Remembers. Several years ago, I wrote a fun children's story about a young family who were reminded about the true meaning of the birth of Christ on Christmas Eve. If you have children and grandchildren, please gather round and listen to A Child Remembers. A Child Remembers by Richard Gibbons. Chapter 1. A Child of the Shepherd. In a few weeks it would be Christmas, and Thomas and Amy were very excited. When Mom and Dad took them to buy a tree, they brought it home and covered it with ornaments, tinsel and lights. As they decorated the tree, Amy asked, "Thomas, what do you want for Christmas?" Thomas shrugged and said, "I'm not sure." "I know exactly what I want," said Amy, but when Thomas asked her what it was, she just smiled. At school that week, everyone was busy preparing for the Christmas nativity play. Thomas and Amy rehearsed each afternoon as Amy practiced being an angel, and Thomas played the part of a shepherd. Each night after supper, Amy practiced her lines while Thomas tried hard to stand still as his mom adjusted his costume and pinned up the bottom of his robe. One evening, Thomas and Amy excitedly told Mom and Dad about their friend Sam, who was playing the part of the innkeeper. That afternoon, when they were rehearsing, Sam had forgotten his lines. When he opened the door of the inn, Sam was supposed to say to Mary and Joseph, "There is no room at the inn." But he actually said, "Please come in. We've been expecting you." "Oh no," gasped Mom, and they all laughed together. But Miss Wilson just smiled and asked Sam to try again, added Amy. Later that night, Mom and Dad listened as Thomas and Amy sang a new Christmas carol, A Child Remembers. Miss Wilson had been teaching the children the words to sing at the end of the nativity play. Mom and Dad recognised the tune, Away in a Manger, and learned the words as Amy and Thomas practised. On their way upstairs to bed, Thomas asked Amy, "What do you really want for Christmas?" Once again, Amy just smiled and skipped excitedly into her room. Chapter 2. Wise Men, Profound Questions. The next week, Thomas and Amy had so much fun preparing for the school nativity play that they did not realise how quickly the days were passing by. The Christmas holidays would soon be here. Each afternoon, Miss Wilson would read the Christmas story and then help the children rehearse. Amy's favourite part was when the angel Gabriel appeared to Mary. He told her she would have a baby boy who would be the saviour of the world. Thomas enjoyed the story of the three kings who travelled for thousands of miles searching for the baby whose name was Jesus. Thomas liked to imagine what an adventure it would be to ride on a camel, sleep in a tent and follow the star to Bethlehem where Jesus would be born. The part of the story Thomas did not like was when the three kings visited King Herod. Thomas suspected that Herod could not be trusted, and he was always glad when the kings continued on their journey. One evening, Grandma and Grandad came for dinner. They were excited to hear about Amy and Thomas participating in the school nativity play. Thomas dressed up to let his grandparents see his costume. He wore a robe, carried a fluffy toy lamb, and walked with a shepherd's staff. Dressed as an angel, Amy looked adorable. Grandad was so pleased that he took photographs of Thomas and Amy on his phone and sent them to his friends. Later that evening, Grandad told Amy and Thomas a story. A long time ago, when I was about your age, I was in a nativity play. Along with the other boys in my class, we changed the words of one of the Christmas carols and sang, "While shepherds washed their socks by night." Our teacher was very annoyed with us, Grandad remembered, but on the night of the nativity play, we behaved so well that she gave each of us a piece of chocolate candy to eat on the way home. Before going to bed, Mom and Dad asked Amy and Thomas to sing the new Christmas carol. Grandma and Grandad tried to sing along. When they had finished singing, Grandma asked Amy what she would like for Christmas, and Thomas tried to hear Amy's answer, but she whispered softly in Grandma's ear, quickly said good night, and excitedly ran up the stairs to bed. Thomas was now more determined than ever to find out what Amy really wanted for Christmas. Chapter 3. The Truth of Each Christmas. About a week before Christmas, Mom, Dad, Grandma and Grandad, along with Amy and Thomas, arrived at school for the nativity play. The entire school was a buzz of excitement. While Amy and Thomas quickly changed into their costumes, the class received last-minute instructions from Miss Wilson. When the music started and the curtains opened, it was time for the play to begin. In a clear voice, one of the children read the Christmas story. The other children played the parts of the angel Gabriel, Mary and Joseph, and the three kings. Sam, of course, played the innkeeper. Amy was an angel, Thomas was a shepherd, and they were wonderful. At the end of the performance, all the children sang, "A Child Remembers." When the children had finished, everyone stood up and applauded for a long time. On the way home, Dad asked Amy and Thomas what was your favourite part of the nativity play. Amy replied that she really liked it when the angel said, "Today in the town of David, a Saviour has been born to you. He is Christ the Lord." The part I liked best, said Thomas, was when we sang, "In transformed hearts he forever remains." Grandad was so proud of Amy and Thomas for participating in the nativity play that he gave them each a piece of chocolate candy to eat on the way home. Even though it was late when they arrived home that night, Thomas added 3 small plastic figures to the manger scene when no one was looking. The next morning, Amy was so surprised when she saw next to Mary and Joseph and the shepherds a soldier, a cowboy, and Darth Vader. Amy immediately ran and told her mum. "It's all right," explained Mom. "There is room for everyone in the stable at Christmas." When Christmas Eve arrived, Mum asked Amy what she truly wanted for Christmas. Amy whispered quietly in her ear. Mum smiled and her eyes began to sparkle. She gave Amy a big hug and held her for a long time. The next year, a few weeks before Christmas, Thomas, Amy, Mom and Dad bought another Christmas tree and covered it with ornaments, tinsel and lights. As they decorated the tree, Amy began to sing A Child Remembers, and everyone joined in. Well, not quite everyone, because their new baby sister was too small to sing. Then, just for a moment, Amy and Mommy looked at each other. Their eyes began to sparkle, and they both remembered exactly what Amy had wanted for Christmas last year.